welcome to Between the Shelves, the premier Save a Library podcast. I am your host, Alex, and this episode we have a full studio. I'm joined with three co-hosts today. Tim from administration. Hi, Tim.
Hello.
Kristina, a regular on the podcast.
Hello.
Sorry, that was kind of disparaging. Kristina, you know her. Skipping over Kristina. And Rachel.
Hello there.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi.
Is this your first one back since the Oscar episode?
It is.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
So in this week's episode, we are talking about board games because it is National Board Game Day or week. I forget which. But it is board game related this week. So we're talking about board games. So let's get started. We're all big fans of board games here. That's why you're all on this episode. What makes board games so great? Why have they lasted so long? Why are we still playing board games in the digital age? Any thoughts on that?
I think because it's an activity that gets everyone together in person and it still has that social part of it.
Yeah.
And you don't get online if you're playing like Candy Crush online or something.
Yeah, the face-to-face aspect of it for sure. Camaraderie.
Yeah. Seeing the face of people losing while you're winning in person is far better.
Crushing your competition under your heel is
Crushing
different
their
in
souls.
person. I think the tactile nature of board games is nice too.
What I was going to say, yeah.
There's physical pieces. You're moving around a board or you have cards in your hands. There's just something about it
the clack of the dice.
The clack of the dice. The artwork of board games too. There's just some artwork in games that are just timeless. You know, we'll talk about some of the classics later, but modern board games, it's gorgeous.
Modern board games have taken it to another level of how much art goes into the game itself.
Yeah. And as somebody who makes board games as a hobby, it is remarkable how much artwork is required to make a game. Like cards, box, instruction manuals, the board. It's crazy how much artwork is involved. So, modern games have really taken that really as far as it can possibly go into 3D modeling now too, 3D printed objects and all kinds of stuff. Another thing about board games I think of is every time you play, it's a different experience. You know, whereas you're playing a video game or something, it's somebody wrote it to be experienced one way. Usually,
linear.
It's very linear usually. But a board game, you can play the same game a dozen times, and every time it's going to have a different outcome. Mm-hmm. You know, there's going to be different points throughout the game where there's highs and lows. Depending on people who you're playing with can change the attitude of the game too.
Comebacks.
After a setback.
Yes.
The comeback is greater than the setback, something like that.
I just like how there's so many different board games that it scratches a lot of different, an itch. The competitive itch. The tactile one. Collecting, just the different, if you have a bigger game, you're just collecting different tokens or just a farming type of game. Something like that where you're gathering, and who doesn't love a good gathering game?
Yeah.
Something, you're just collecting and collecting and collecting.
Yeah, and there's a game for everyone too. Mm-hmm. That's the other part of it. There's games where you're cooperative, working with people. There's games like the Kristina likes where you're crushing your opponents.
I just want to say I have literally never won a board game. The amount of strategy needed for most of the games that I end up playing just does not compute well. And
You're not taking in any lessons from your losses. It's just keep playing, keep rolling the dice.
Yeah.
But you know what? You're persevering. And that's admirable.
You haven't stopped playing.
That's true.
That's good.
So what did everyone here at this table, were you board game? Did you come from a board game family?
Mm-hmm.
You played board games when you were young? Or
Yeah, we had the tons, the usual ones, Monopoly, Operation, Perfection.
I never heard of Perfection.
Perfections, those little yellow
you put in the blue
tokens.
Oh, yeah.
Life. And there's a timer at Life. I used to play it. I used to cheat at Life because I wanted to have a good life.
I want a good life. I'm going to cheat at it.
Something to be said about that.
Well, it's what it is.
So Uno is a really good one.
Uno's
now there's a newish flavor of it called Uno Flip. I don't know if anyone has played that, but it's the regular Uno cards, and then there's a dark side, and you flip. You get the flip card, and everything flips, and then it becomes even more competitive.
Oh,
and
wow.
You can really screw people over even more so.
Like the Uno reverse card.
Yeah.
More.
But more so. Wow. And then it flips back and forth. That's a good one. That's a good one. I like it.
Yeah. Kristina, how about you?
Not really. I was an only child, so played by myself most of the time.
Sad music.
I didn't get into board games till I was probably in my 20s.
So, I have a 9-year-old, and she was pretty much by herself for most of her life until just 2 years ago. So we played a lot of card games. I think it's better now with like smaller size group games.
Yeah.
That's definitely become more of a thing of like you can even do solo games so much more than you ever could.
I couldn't even name a solo game before 6 or 7 years ago. It seems like that's a very recent development.
Yeah.
You were a board game enthusiast later in life, which is like something I want to talk about a little bit later, but like board games is having a moment. Like it's absolutely gaining in popularity year over year. I think I have a stat here somewhere. I have way too many notes again for this episode, but it's been steadily growing like every year since 2010, I believe, like a good amount. And I think a lot of that has to do with like the modern game renaissance that's happening right now.
I definitely think part of it has to do with video games though, because a lot of us grew up with video games, but then they keep also growing every year. And I think the people that grew up with video games are now designing board games.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So a lot of them are taking that into it, and then there's just more people playing games in general.
Yeah, they're kind of feeding ideas to each other. You know, some of the, like a recent video game that just came out is called Balatro. I don't know if you've heard of it. Yeah. It's a board game, but it's a card game. Yeah, but it's a card game that couldn't be made physically. Like it has digital elements involved. But it's funny how like they're kind of influencing one another. Like games got so complex, and then board games kind of said like we're kind of children's games almost, and then they did a lot of catching up to become more adult and complex. And
when we were kids, the most complicated game was Risk. And it wasn't even that it was complicated, it just took forever.
Just a lot of pieces.
Tons of pieces, and the game could go on for like hours or days.
Do you know what else had a ton of pieces? Mousetrap. Remember Mousetrap?
Oh, yeah.
It took like half an hour to set it up. It was crazy. And the game was over in like 15 minutes.
Just one other thing, though, with the renaissance of board games. So it has been since, like you said, about 20 or 10 years, right? So about 10 years ago, I was running a board game group at the library here, and we were talking about the same thing of how it's a renaissance going. Yeah. So it's continued to grow ever since then, and we used to have we had a monthly game. We had regulars that would come, and each person would bring their own board game, and it was a lot of fun. So yeah, it's something that it'd be great if we could do again at some point, because people love to play board games.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll have to start that up again. Yeah. So I found that stat. Since 2010, it's grown 10% every year. Wow. And then in 2020, unsurprisingly, it had like I don't have the exact number, but it spiked even higher.
I wonder what happened then.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Weird.
Just a good year.
Good year to stay inside and play board games.
For months at a time.
So some other stats I found, compared to video games, so this is a recent poll by YouGov, 47% of people list board games as one of their hobbies in the United States, which I thought was pretty high, 47%, compared to 57% of list video games as a hobby. So it's pretty closer than I thought it would be. And a third of each video game players and board game players are between the ages of 35 to 54. So it's pretty evenly spread across age groups, but bubbling in the 35 to 54.
That makes sense, though.
Yeah.
Range. Gamers by gender, 51% of board gamers are women and 49 are men.
Look at that.
Thought that was interesting.
Isn't that the same stats as the world population almost?
Yeah.
Isn't it like
it's like 50.1. Yeah. But I thought that was interesting. That's higher than video games, where I think it's closer to maybe 35, 65.
Yeah. But, so I'm just wondering, would you consider, tying back to the library, we have our monthly Mahjong, and what else do we have here? Canasta, Bridge.
Oh, those are all board games. I definitely
you consider that a board game. Yeah. And
I would.
I think the majority of those, it's mostly women, I think, that are playing those games. And then the odd man here or there.
Yeah. And just one other quick fact about board games that I have here. Belgium has the highest percentage of board gamers in their population. 31% consider themselves as one of their highest hobbies. 31% of the population. USA is actually number 2 at 23%. So it's quite a drop from Belgium. But I was kind of surprised USA is number 2. I thought it would be another country around Belgium, like Germany or something, where board gaming is huge.
Well, yeah, and they have, as doesn't Germany have their own award?
Yeah,
for
the Spiel, or I'm
Something
probably
with
butchering
an
that.
S.
Yeah, the International Board Game Awards.
Right. And it's a pretty big deal to get that award.
Huge convention, yeah. Well, segueing off of that there's a great documentary that we have here at the library called Game Masters. It came out a couple of years ago, 2 years, 3 years ago. We have it on DVD here at the library. It's also available on Canopy if you are subscribed to our streaming app. But it's a great documentary. It follows 4 indie board game designers that are all trying to publish a game. Some of them it's their first game, some it's like one of their more recent games. And it kind of follows the different routes that are available. So like 2 of them, I think, end up at that German international whatever, and they're trying to like pitch their game to publishers there. One's going more like an indie route where they're just boxing things in their garage and doing it all like as a side hustle. And then another one's trying to start a Kickstarter campaign. So it's interesting to watch like 4 different routes to developing a board game and kind of following their story. So it's a really cool documentary. It's worth checking out. It's called Game Master or Game Masters. So if you are interested, board game curious, or maybe you're a board gamer and you've just been playing the classics, Monopoly, etc. for years, and you want to sort of dip your toes into what else is out there, Kristina, you manage our board game collection for the adult department. And do you want to talk about this nifty pamphlet flyer you put together?
Sure. So last year I put together a pamphlet where I organized all of our board games into different categories and complexities, and so that if you are interested in playing a game but don't necessarily know where to start, you can get some idea. I also included QR codes in every single game that will bring you to an instructional video on how to play, because many of them require 40 or 50 page instruction booklets to start, and nobody wants to go through that.
I love watching the video and then reading
or
like skimming the
really let it sink in.
Yeah.
So I use actually Board Game Geek to help with some of the stuff. So like with the complexity, I think each game is out of 5, and the library only has games with a complexity up to 3. So not the most complex games, but
where's what is it? House on the Haunted?
That's 2.5. So
really?
Wingspan, Wingspan is our most complex game. It's a 3.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about those games? Wingspan and House on Haunted Hill?
I can definitely. It's Betrayal at House on the Hill, also known as Spooky Kitchen.
The cool kids call it.
Cool kids call it.
I thought that's like what they called it in the UK or something.
No, actually, Spooky Kitchen is the game that got me into board games. A friend had it, and his mom suggested that we play it by going, "Oh, you guys should play that game, with the Spooky Kitchen." And
I'm intrigued.
Wow, a Spooky Kitchen. It actually was reprinted, so the copy we have, the kitchen isn't spooky anymore. They unspookified the kitchen. So that game has 2 parts to it. In the first part of the game, you are exploring a haunted house. So you're laying down the house tile by tile. So you're essentially designing the board as you play. And as you go, different things happen in the rooms, different events. You can find items. And then there are other things called omens, which if you get enough of, initiate a haunt, which changes how the game is played. You're still sort of exploring the house and unlocking rooms, but the game starts cooperative. You're all exploring this house together. When the haunt is revealed, usually there's a mechanic where one person is now working against everybody else, and they have a different set of win conditions. Usually there's some kind of like battle involved. There are stats in the game. You get like a little tracker for your character.
I love games where the board is modular, like it changes every time you play. That's really fascinating.
It has like 3 floors too. So sometimes you can get stuck on a floor, like you can fall into the basement. But if the stairs haven't been revealed yet, you can't get back up.
Oh no. That sounds fun for the cooperative part of the game, and then I feel like it can get very stressful once like one of the players is revealed to be an axe murderer or something.
Yeah, my experience with it, we've never had the same haunt twice, so it's super specific, the haunts, depending on what rooms you have in the house already and where the haunt was revealed and who revealed the haunt and different things like that. But it's usually weighted much more towards the person who is playing by themselves to win.
Their favor, they have like a...
Yeah, like...
The scales are tilted in their favor?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
They get like minions and stuff, so they can do like multiple things on a turn.
That sounds fun. I gotta play that game.
I've been wanting to play it for a long time now.
Yeah, maybe that'll be the first game we play at our library program.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
That sounds really cool. So would you recommend that's like dipping your toes into getting out of like the Monopoly into like more modern games, or is there something else you'd recommend sort of in between?
I think...
Or do you think it's just like genre? Like just go for something that interests you. Like if you like spooky stuff, try this game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the most complex part of the gameplay is the haunt. So as long as you're comfortable with the gameplay changing and you having no idea how it's going to do so until it happens, I think it's a pretty easy to get into game.
Okay, so, and I think this is like an advice that I would give like anybody who's playing board games, like, especially if it's your first time, don't like shame somebody for not understanding what's going on in a game, because all of these games are so like convoluted and weird with their rules. And I think if you can express like it's okay to not know what's going on and like help guide somebody through their first time playing a game, it'll help so much in the long run, because one, they'll want to maybe play again. But I think it just makes it a more fun environment for everybody too. So just putting that aside, if you are the experienced person in the group, like, you know, do a little bit of hand holding can go a long way.
To that end, there's memes about the games where it's like, all right, I can't remember it exactly, but it's basically like, let's spend 40 minutes learning how to play this game.
Twilight Imperium is like what's the other one? Frost Haven or Gloomhaven.
Gloomhaven. Yeah. Those are almost, they're really more tabletop RPGs than a board game. But just the idea that like if you're the experienced one and you're with people that don't normally play board games, start easy. Don't throw out a really complex board game out there, because you're going to turn people away from board games.
Yeah. Cool. Do you have any other recommendations before? I know Rachel and I have some classics trivia that we want to hit in this episode.
I mean, I don't know if I have.
We can save it for the end.
I mean, I have curated much of the board game collection we have here, added many of the...
So you would recommend anything?
Anything that we have, I have played.
Has the Kristina stamp of approval.
Yeah, well, except the Harry Potter Hogwarts battle game, but that's a whole other...
That was here before you got here.
That was a donation, and I didn't have a choice.
So come into the library and, ask us. We play a lot of the games, or we know enough about them to give you our honest opinion. So,
and there's also not just the adult collection. We have a collection in teens that's not for checkout, but it's really more just for teens coming into the library. And they can play. And then children's has a really good collection too of that you can check out.
Yeah. Very large collection too.
A large collection, yeah. It's a good amount. Yeah. And I've checked out from there at least a few times.
Cool. So I think some people might be curious, our listeners, why do libraries carry board games? Like, why is it our business to be carrying these board games?
Whose business is this?
Yeah, whose business is this? So, I mean, I have some thoughts. I mean, it's board games are part of our culture. They've been around forever, longer than America's been around. So I think they're steeped in our culture. Everyone knows the Monopoly guy, and everybody's, So I think they're worth preserving from that aspect of it. Also, I think board games are expensive, and if you don't like the game, you might pay $50, $60 to try a game once, and then it's trash. Yeah. So, the library is a great place to try something out. What are your thoughts on this?
I never thought about the preservation aspect of it, but it kind of makes sense because smaller games that aren't very popular might get printed once or twice and then that's it. You might not see them
that's a
again.
great point.
So I like that idea.
Also, I have a note here from the ALA, the American Library Association.
Did they send you a note?
They sent me, this is a direct quote from them. They also encourage critical thinking, problem solving, social and language skills. So it's not like a mindless thing we're just keeping on our shelves. And even if it was, if people want it, we're here to provide it for them. But, games, at least I know, I played them since I was a kid. They definitely helped with my problem solving skills, thinking analytically, strategically, things like that. Even social skills.
Like winning and losing. And
yeah, except...
Yeah.
That's true. Tell that to my daughter, please.
Tell it to my son.
Okay. We'll tell each other.
Okay.
It's like, yeah, you won. Technically, you won, except for the cheating that you did that I had to let go because you would throw a fit if I didn't.
I mean, I just said I cheated at life when I was
a
kid, so...
On the occasion that my dad would play board games with me as a child, he would never, go easy on me.
Parenting choice.
He'd be like, if we're going to play this game, you have to learn to accept losing.
And did that work for you?
I still play board games.
That is true, yeah.
And I lose them all the time.
So you've accepted it. You got the life lesson. Okay. All right, new strategy.
Force your kids to lose. Demolish them at Disney Trivia.
Oh my god.
My son's still too young to fully grasp what a board game is. I've tried many times.
He's 3 or?
He's 3, about to be 4. So he's sort of getting the concept. We've been creating our own games, which is mostly just turning cardboard boxes into board games, crayons, and then moving toy cars and trains around. Yes, Rachel.
There's a board game for preschoolers that's good. It's the first board game.
Okay.
And it's called, I think, Zingo. Did you ever play that?
Zingo's good. Zingo Bingo.
It's like bingo, yeah.
Okay.
But it's images on the tiles, and you have to match them up, right? Is that what
you
it
get
is?
a cool little thing that it's holds all the tiles.
Yes.
And you hit a button and it spits them out, and then you have to get the...
Yeah. And they have one for literacy too, later on, where sight words.
He's been playing a lot of these. Both of my in-laws are elementary or preschool teachers who are retired, so they have a whole collection of board games that they use with their students. So he's been playing those games, but it's a lot of stuff like what you're describing, like bingo, matching, things like that, which is great for his age.
Yeah.
But I'm like, come on, let's go to the next step. I want to go.
Candyland is really easy though too. That's super simple.
What is it?
Candyland.
Oh, Candyland.
Classic.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah. All right, I'll check that one out. I'll check it out from Children's downstairs right now.
Oh, you got a fact about it?
I got multiple facts.
All right, let's hear one.
Wait, I gotta find that page. Hold, please.
While you're looking up your notes, there is a book.
I found
it. Okay. And go.
So Candyland has a interesting history because of how it was invented. I don't know if you guys know about this. So it was actually invented by a school teacher in 1949 during the height of polio. And she was in the polio ward and she noticed all these kids there and they were bored. So she created this game for the parents and kids to play together when the parents came to visit. And that's basically it. But I mean, it's cool though, right? It was invented during polio.
That is really cool.
That's interesting.
Keep kids busy and keep their minds off of where they were.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
So that was kind of cool. A lot of these games were invented back in the day during World War II.
Yeah, I actually can talk about that. Yeah. Have you read the book It's All a Game by Tristan Donovan? All right, so this book we have at the library, it's called It's All a Game, The History of Board Games from Monopoly to Settlers of Catan by Tristan Donovan. So it's I think you might like this book, Rachel, because it's not a very long book, but it's each chapter kind of goes through the history of popular board games. And the first chapters are chess and ancient games, right, which I thought were really fascinating. But then most of the book is Candyland and Twister and Clue and Monopoly and games like that.
There's facts about those too.
Yeah. Well, we already mentioned Game of Life, so I thought this one was interesting. It started out as a moralizing game, where you were punished for landing on bad sin tiles, and you were rewarded for landing on good deed tiles. Yeah, that's true. And then in the 60s, Milton Bradley bought it and got rid of all of that and just replaced it with money. Yeah. They just made money the ultimate goal, and the game instantly became a huge hit. And then another interesting thing about it, in the original version, they had a uranium deposit tile.
What?
And I guess at the time, the Atomic Energy Commission had like cash incentives for people who could find uranium deposits and like out in the wild. So like that was like a real life thing you could do. So they had that in the game. And obviously they got rid of that because they didn't want people looking for uranium and a bad
Just dig up
taste.
your backyard. See if you can find some.
Did you also know they replaced the Nobel Prize winning tile thing with appearing on a reality show?
No way.
That's gross.
Yeah, they did.
Yikes. That's a recent...
Like a few years ago.
I guess one of them is more attainable than the other.
That's true. Reach for the stars.
So easy to get a Nobel
the
Prize
actual
these
stars.
days.
The Hollywood stars.
Good one. Good one.
And also in the original game, instead of the country cottage that you could retire to, it was the poor farm. And it was like... It was like you lost the game if you reached that
I
ending.
had an old copy of the game from, I think, when my aunts and uncles were children, and it was like a very aggressive form of the game where you would have to go to like the poor farm at the end.
The game that I grew up with, like, you couldn't lose. Like, you just didn't get into like the millionaire condos or whatever. This one was like, you lost. You lost life.
Here's what I'd like to know. And I don't know if either of you have this fact, so get ready. I don't either, so I'm asking. How many versions of Monopoly exist? I had a feeling you might have...
Official?
Well, I have a lot of...
Official.
Not like Catopoly by...
No. Like the different themed Monopolies. Because there's got to be some crazy number.
It started out as the landlord's game. And it was developed by the wife of a famous economist who was... She developed it to try to like popularize his ideas, and it was all about like it was all anti-capitalist stuff.
Yeah, I remember that. Yes,
and then just like it's a common theme with a lot of these board games, like it gets bought by a company, and they just totally flip the idea of the game on its head, or they take like
it sells a bajillion
copies. Yeah,
the only real Monopoly is the McDonald's version.
I never won anything on that one.
Talk about cheating.
Well, that was also a scam.
Have you seen the documentary
McMillions
about why you never won?
There's a documentary? No.
Yes, it's
really?
Fascinating. It was all a scam.
It was all a scam.
I'm gonna put that on my list.
As a publishing agency or something like that, or right? Something.
Or a marketing.
Marketing. That's what it was.
They basically mailed the winning pieces to relatives.
People that they know.
Get out.
Yep.
Wow.
So you were never gonna win.
Today I learned. Okay.
How many? Anyone?
I don't know the exact
I
number.
don't know if I have that exact fact.
All right.
I could tell you the most expensive Monopoly set in the world is worth $2 million.
What's so expensive? It's all
Fingers crossed that's the original Pokemon Monopoly, because I have that in my closet right now.
It's not. Sorry. It was crafted with 23 karat gold, rubies, sapphires, and diamonds.
Interesting.
So.
Okay.
Wow.
I do like the trend, even though I can't afford to buy them, of these deluxe editions of these classic games that's coming out. Yeah. So have you seen...
Like with the fancy, like...
It's a glass covers? Top. So for...
Splendor with all real jewels.
That I don't... Really?
No.
Oh, okay. Then you got me. So there's like a Clue... I believe it's Clue that has... it's a very thick board, and it's almost like a 3D... Like you're looking down into the rooms.
Oh, that's so cool.
With a glass top and like this very nice wood paneling around it. It's a couple $100 though.
Wow.
And they have these different versions of these games that they're coming out with now for the collector. But I guess it's maybe more for a collector than anything. I would love to play that, but
I would love to play it, but I don't want to own it.
I'm not shelling out hundreds of dollars
nuts.
for it.
They have a whole, going back to the book I was just talking about, I wanted to mention this one, the war games in Risk that we talked about earlier. Apparently, like war games have been around for like hundreds of years. Yeah. Like it was actually like generals would use them to simulate battles and things to prepare. But they had an interesting story that Pearl Harbor, the attack on Pearl Harbor, Japan ran like rigorous war game trials to prepare for it. And the way they did it was so fascinating. I mean, obviously it was an atrocity. It was a terrible thing, but it was really interesting the way they prepared for it.
Besides that.
Because basically they had two teams of generals. They were in different rooms, and then they had a giant board that was in a central room that neither team could see. So they would call in all their moves through like a radio or a telephone, and they'd have like somebody moving the pieces that would relay. So you only knew like where your opponents were if your like ship was within range.
You're describing Battleship.
Yes.
Yeah, wow, you're right. I didn't even put that together. But
I feel like that was also Something like that was depicted in Doctor
Strangelove.
Doctor Strangelove.
The big board.
They have like the war room. The big war room.
War rooms are very important
Yes.
in that movie.
Well, one fun thing was that, speaking of war games, so Dungeons and Dragons, Gary Gygax, I think that originally started as a war game and then eventually developed into like a fantasy, because that was a big thing, was fantasy, medieval style war games of just having troops and all that stuff, and then it kind of morphed over the years into
they touch on that
Dragons.
too in the book, how D&D kind of is like a offshoot from war games.
Yeah.
It's really all fascinating. Hey, Rachel, you're itching to get back to your trivia. Let's hear it.
I had 2 war-related facts I wanted to mention.
Oh, good.
So with Monopoly, in World War II, the Allies smuggled maps, compasses, and files to POWs by hiding them in Monopoly sets.
That's cool.
Interesting.
Which is pretty cool.
Very cool.
And then the game Clue was...
Great game.
I love Clue. Was invented during World War II when this guy, Anthony Pratt, was kept indoors by air raids during the war. And he invented this murder mystery game, and he called it Murder! In 1944. And then he sold the game. They renamed it Cluedo, which is Clue plus Ludo, a popular game, I guess, at the time.
I think Ludo is like Latin for game.
Is it?
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I read that. I'm pretty sure. Go on. Sorry.
Okay.
I'll put that out if it's wrong.
So his idea had more characters and weapons, but the basic game is pretty much the same since the 1940s.
Yeah, I think they just swapped out the character names. It's basically
still the same thing, yeah.
Yeah, very cool. I can keep going. I have way more. Twister is another interesting history. It was when it was first pitched.
Wait, is that a board game?
That's a good question.
I would categorize it as a board game.
I guess
if card games are board games, then Twister's a board game.
If you play Twister on a table.
Board game is more of an
Hurt
umbrella.
yourself.
That's extreme Twister. You played on a table.
I don't have any facts about Twister.
Okay, I'll do it really quickly.
Okay.
So it was developed in the 60s, and then it was deemed too risque to publish because of the Hays Code, which I don't have notes on what that is. I forgot what that was.
I thought that had more to do with motion pictures back then, what you could show in films.
Yeah. In any way, it was just too indecent. No publisher would put it out because it just, people rubbing up on each other. Yeah. But then Johnny Carson, the talk show host, got a handle on a copy of it and played it live on TV, and it immediately sold millions of copies right after that and just became a huge hit. So I thought that was really interesting. And then it spawned a whole bunch of other risque games. I have some of the titles here. I've never played any of these games, and we will never have them at the library, but Bumps and Grinds, Office Party, and Seduction were some of the titles that came out.
Office Party and Seduction? There's a comma?
Office Party is a game.
Okay.
Seduction is another game.
Not a game that involves both of those things.
Oh,
yeah. And then another little twist to Twister. In the 1980s, all of these games stopped being produced because of the AIDS crisis. They were they were just nope, this is not happening anymore.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So there is a toy and collectible store, Milo Toys, and they have a giant wall of board games. And I was there over the weekend, and they have a game there, I'm assuming probably from the 50s, 60s, or 70s, called Careers for Girls.
Oh, wow.
Where's this? Where's Milo's?
It's in Oakdale, in the Wendy Shopping Center.
Sounds like an even sadder version of life.
Yeah. The Careers for Girls are nurse, teacher, actress.
I would have taken that game and burned it when I got home.
Housewife.
Not even librarian, a famously female-dominated.
Yeah. Old Maid.
Oh, God.
I would just like to comment on Old Maid real quick. So that is one of the games that we've played with Julia. And we have, the rule is if you get the Old Maid, you win the game. If you have the Old Maid at the end.
Okay.
Because traditionally it's if you have the Old Maid, you lose. That's it. The game is, it's basically getting rid of all of your cards. The last person that has the Old Maid loses. So we flip that.
Nice.
And she likes it.
Okay, good.
And
feminism.
There you go.
Microfeminism.
I don't have anything to contribute except snarky comments, apparently.
That's why you're one of our listener favorites. Just one other note I have here about the history of board games. up until like around, I guess, the 80s or so, games are still sort of considered like family friendly, like entertainment, or even for just exclusively for kids. But then the book I mentioned, it's all a game, mentioned that Trivial Pursuit sort of flipped that on its head. It was like sort of the first game that was marketed for adults only.
When did that come out?
And it was actually came out in like the mid 80s. I thought it would be earlier than that. Yeah.
And do you know who invented Trivial Pursuit?
Please tell us.
2 journalists invented it in 45 minutes after being shocked at the price of a Scrabble set.
Was it expensive?
I didn't read that
Trivial
far.
Pursuit isn't cheap either.
Well, that was part of why they were marketing it for just adults. It was extremely expensive, so it became sort of like prestige items.
Okay.
Item, and then it's like its packaging was not flashy either. It was like very austere and like plain.
Trivial Pursuit.
You hate it?
I loved it.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah.
I never had a copy, but whenever I went over to my aunt and uncle's, they had like in their basement. It was just this big old one from probably close to the original, and we didn't know most of anything of the answers, but there was something about those little pie wedges that was very satisfying.
I love those. We just have that.
I had a Disney knockoff, but instead of the pie pieces, you put little tiny like pieces of Mickey Mouse together.
Nice. I have Beatles Trivia Pursuit. So
I love trivia.
That's got to be hard.
It is. Well, it is tough. Yeah,
for one subject. Like Disney, there's so many different movies and all that, but it's the Beatles.
Well, the Beatles is broken up like the movies is a category. Okay. The solo work is a category. It's good.
The Disney version has kids cards and adult cards.
Oh,
so
that's good.
The kids cards they have like a picture on the back that you get to look at as the person is reading the question, and it's usually just like, who is this? And it's just a picture of Mickey Mouse.
Also by Trivial Pursuit.
Yeah.
Yes.
The author of a series of trivia encyclopedias sued the makers of Trivial Pursuit for allegedly stealing questions from his books, as one question was an intentionally wrong fact he put in to thwart copiers.
Ooh. Oh, like paper towns.
Yeah.
Huh?
Paper towns are towns that map makers put on maps that aren't real so that they can thwart copywriters. Learned that from a John Green book called Paper Towns.
That's what I thought you were talking about. Was Paper Towns, the book.
It's based on the same premise, I think.
All right. So that's. I mean, I can keep going with my trivia. Do you have any more to close on, before we can go to recommendations?
Lots of facts.
What's a highlight? Give me your best last good fact.
The funnest fact.
Yahtzee. Remember Yahtzee? It's according to Hasbro. Yahtzee was invented by a wealthy Canadian couple who liked to play the game on their yacht.
Wow. I did not know that.
Right?
And if that's true, that is awesome.
I didn't fact check that. I have no idea, but
makes sense.
It's
Sounds
on the
right.
internet. It's almost true. So.
All right, awesome. So let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll end the episode with some recommendations from the library's collection. Okay, we are back. So we have dozens and dozens of library games at the library, and I'd like to make some recommendations for our listeners to come in and check out. I kind of have my notes broken up by like age or beginner friendly, stuff like that. So some family friendly / newcomer friendly games. A personal favorite of mine, Sorry or Parcheesi, are great, very simple games for kids and families. If you've seen Sorry or Trouble or Parcheesi, they're all the same game. You're just moving a piece.
I don't think I've ever played Parcheesi.
Parcheesi is just like the original version of that. Okay. You're trying to get your piece around the board and then back to your home base.
Is that the one with the black and white like wedges?
No.
What is that one called?
Backgammon.
Yeah.
Another game I have never played, clearly.
The reason I recommend Parcheesi or Sorry or these games is I grew up, and I think I've told all of you this off mic before, but my great-grandfather invented a board game called Murder that is based...
Exclamation point?
Did it have an exclamation point?
No. This is like it's a family game. It's essentially Parcheesi, where you're moving marbles around a wooden board to get back to your home base, and you can bump off other players as you go, and you murder them, quote-unquote murder them. Mm-hmm. So this is a family game.
You murder them family style.
Family style,
okay.
Yeah. And in my family, it's extremely vicious. So every member of my family has their own copy of the game. We were all had one made for us when we were born, so my game is from 1989. It's like classic.
That's cool.
Yeah, so whenever there's more than like 2 family members of mine in the same room, that game comes out and we start playing it. And it's super simple to play. There's very light strategy involved. And it's just quick pick up play, very, very fun game. And it's just all about the camaraderie thing that I was talking about in the beginning of the episode. Like, it's just about razzing each other. Like in our family, like we just make fun of each other all the time, like to a vicious degree, I guess. So like, it's just a very fun way to just make fun of one another for like an hour. And, you know, if like somebody takes a fraction of a second too long to take their turn, you just, everyone unloads on them for like becoming a doddering old idiot. And it's just,
I would have cried.
I don't know. Yeah, my wife doesn't play with us. I'll just say that. She's an angel. She's too good for this game. But it's just some of the best board gaming moments I've had is playing that game. So I think Parcheesi's like the popular version of that. So it's very, very fun. Apples to Apples is another one.
Oh, that's a good one.
Very like, couldn't be easier to play. All ages can play it. Yeah, and then shameless plug. There's a game called Dicey Racers Up an Adult that I made. It's like a kid's game.
It's a good game.
Thank you. It's a very, very simple game and has a modular board, which I like to play on. So check it out. It's basically like Mario Kart, but a board game version.
Yes. Cool. Which, why isn't there a board game version of Mario Kart too?
That's true.
Kind of crazy.
Get on that.
There's definitely a racing-esque
There
board
are
game,
racing
not
games,
created by Alex.
But you're talking about for Mario Kart?
Not branded.
Okay.
I don't think that Nintendo
There is a
needs the
great
money.
game. I only played it once when we did one of these board game programs, and someone brought it, and it's a F1, I think it's called. Giant board, and it's basically a racing game, but Formula One racing game. Mm-hmm. It might actually be called Formula One, not F1. And that you have this huge board, and you have the different cards, very similar. Just on a larger scale, I guess, because yours is more involved with dice. I don't know if that one involved dice, but that's a classic that it's an expensive game, though. So it's another one of those issues where it's like, I'd love to play that game, but I don't want to spend $100 or whatever it costs for that.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So those are my like family-friendly games. Anybody else have any like kids or family-friendly recommendations you want to make?
There's a card game called Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza.
Great game.
You ever heard of that one?
No.
It's super simple, super easy. I think Kids has it. It's basically you put all these cards in a pile, and then whenever a word matches the card that's revealed from the deck, everyone races to slap the discard pile. So you have to be fast, and the slowest person to do it takes all the cards from the discard pile and their deck as like a penalty. But it's super simple to learn. It's really easy.
Taco, cat,
Goat cheese pizza. And it's like, it's hard because you think like, oh, it's easy. I know what a taco is. I know what a cat is. But your brain is like,
wait, also on the cards themselves have images that try to throw you off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So as you're saying the word cat, someone might be putting down a taco, but it might be a cat dressed as a taco to fool you. And then there are like special cards that you have to do special actions for.
Yeah.
You gotta knock, I think. Or
just
no,
like the gorilla.
Yeah. It's really fun.
That's a good one.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. I have a couple. So for the kids ones, most games I'll say that are Will Wright games are classics. So I don't think Will Wright games did Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza, but they have Slamwich, Rat-a-Tat Cat, and Sleeping Queens. Which out of those three, Slamwich is similar, where it's like you're trying to make a sandwich. So it has different cards.
Oh.
And then eventually when you get a sandwich, you got to slam your hand down.
Okay.
Rat-a-tat Cat is a good one for just like addition. And Sleeping Queens, though, that's probably the best of any Will Wright game. And they even came out with a sequel recently. So that's basically you have your queens, you have your kings, you have dragons that do different things, and knights, and it's a lot of fun.
These are card games?
It's a card, yeah. All of these are card games that are like probably ages 6 and up, I think, 5 and up, something like that. And Sleeping Queens, we've been playing that one for a few years now. That's a great game.
Well, let's move on to new classics / board core. That's what I'm calling it.
Ooh.
Some like intermediate to advanced games.
Okay.
What do you got for that?
I guess it depends. I guess Avalon I would consider in that range. It has a steep learning curve, but it's easy to play. Mm-hmm. It's a social deduction game where you are more or less Knights of the Round Table helping King Arthur on some quests. Everybody has a secret role that they're playing with. And some people are good guys, some people are bad guys, and you're trying to do these quests and have them succeed, but the bad guys can make them fail. And it's a lot of fun to play and accuse your friends of being liars for no reason whatsoever. But I think some of the social deduction parts of the game are a little hard to understand on your first play. We always make everyone play a trial round because you have to get it out of the way. We're like, if you're good, you can only succeed on missions, and if you're bad, you can do either. And then there are a couple of roles that let you have secret information about other players that you don't want to reveal. And sometimes people can get a little confused about what that really means. And there are lots of different roles for that. So like Merlin is one of the roles, and he knows who the bad guys are, but he can't tell anyone because if he does, bad guys can murder him at the end of the game and win regardless of the rest of the game. Mm-hmm. And it can be a quick game. It can take 10 minutes or it can take 4.5 hours, depending on how much you are accusing and trying to figure out, like, who failed a mission, and if they failed a mission, who can I put on the next one to make sure that one's not going to fail. But it's a game that my friends and I have been playing for like 15 years. Like, we always come back to it because it's so much fun to play.
All right. Avalon.
I have a game that I've only just started playing semi-recently, but is very addictive. It's called Boop. B-O-O-P.
Like Boop. Yeah, it's nose.
Yes, yep. Exactly.
It's a cat game.
Is it?
It is. It's adorable. So my wife and I call it like cat chess, sort of. Okay, so you have cats and kittens. The board is, you play on the board game box, and you basically just put on top of it it's like a duvet almost, but with a grid. So it turns the board into a bed.
Oh wow! Okay.
And then so it's only a 2-player game.
Okay.
And you start with kittens, and you have to convert your kittens to cats. And when your cat goes on a grid tile, any cats surrounding it, including your own, will get booped at one tile over in any direction.
Oh my god, that's so cute.
It's such a great game. It definitely won some game awards because this is one of those games that is one of the easiest games I've learned how to play in recent memory. Of the instructions are like the size of this pamphlet. It's like 4 pages. And we actually have it's extremely cute. So we have the Halloween version, which is called Boop.
Oh my god.
It introduces...
How many O's would that be?
4.
That sounds right.
So it introduces a ghost cat mechanic, where the ghost cat slowly moves. You put it in one spot, and then each round it moves one additional, and it just goes through cats and can move whoever, and it's a fantastic game.
I love that.
Cat chess, basically. It's a lot of fun.
Chess is just a good game too. While we mentioned it,
sure.
It's good for kids. It's good for adults. It's good for everyone. We
have chess boards here at the library.
We have chess you can check out, and we just have some set up that you can just sit down and maybe challenge a stranger.
Yeah.
Slap a 5 on the table. Call someone out.
What? You can't gamble at the library.
Sorry. Please do not do that.
Oh yeah, don't encourage that.
Do it through Venmo so that we don't know what's
we don't know. I think that's all we got for this episode. So come into the library, check out a board game, and or come into the library and play a board game. Just set up on one of the tables.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, we have teens who often come in and play, like, we have a Cards Against Humanity Family Edition, and they will play in the portico room.
Oh, also the teen department has Hungry Hungry Hippo, and that's often played.
Yes,
they love
true.
that game.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's National Board Game Week in a bag. Thank you all for joining me, and we'll see you all again on the next episode.
Thank you.
Alex.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.